Welcome, everyone. This is The Ends Justify the Memes, the show where the lowest of the low, that is the most wretched of wretched and deplorable, to end all deplorables. Two white heterosexual males from the American South talk about culture, philosophy, history, health, and what it means to be a man in the 21st century. I'll be your host, Bill, and this is my producer and co-host, Tank. So, crack open a beer and lend us your ear because the ends always justify the memes. All right, Tank. How you doing today?
Oh, just trying to live in this crazy world.
Yeah. That's why I got my boot gear on. I'm ready for the boot.
Oh my God, we're fed posting already. The title says we're not going to fed post.
There's a boot happening.
Oh my
It's
God.
happening right now. Oh, folks, it's a crazy, crazy day. And everything that I said would come true has come true. Nothing has happened other than people being stupid in DC and the government of DC, the mayor of DC, essentially, treating right wingers because they're right wing or Trump supporters worse than they treated Antifa and BLM. What do you expect? Got to have the right politics.
Exactly. I expect exactly that.
Yeah. And honestly, you're naive if you think differently. I'm sorry to tell you, folks. Sorry to tell you. But with that, man, let's do some memecast news. All right. So, first one. How do you define marriage? Me, amen, and a woman.
It's plural though, so that's a little weird.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a good deal for the dude.
Yeah, I guess so.
It says, when a man loves a woman.
Is that Michael Bolton?
That's Michael Bolton.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Not the Office Space guy, by the way. Don't confuse the two. They're not related. All right. Here we have a menu and a woman you.
What the hell? What the hell? That's misogynist, Bill.
Yeah. Well, people don't even understand that the word woman just meant you were married in old German, but eventually became applied to females. It has nothing to do with men. It was just something to do with German, old German. Anyways, a liberal after finding out girls menstruate and not woman straight.
What? Oh my God, that's corny.
Yeah. Well, if all the hardcore Trumpsters would have gotten their way today, they would have had this again. But I mean, honestly, folks, you're drinking Kool-Aid if you thought otherwise. You ought to know better. You ought to know better than to understand how our government actually runs, and it doesn't run for your sake. I can tell you that. It hasn't done that in quite a long time. All right, let me get this sized properly. It says Molon Labe or Moan Abe, which means come and take them. Liberty Arms. We thought a mandate was when Barack and Michelle Obama went to the movies.
Ooh, snap.
Gotta get a Michelle Obama, man. At least once a
I feel
stream.
like I've had a Michelle Obama meme like every stream for the last 4 weeks.
I mean, it's becoming a trend when I mean mime. I mean, honestly, I feel wrong without having one.
Right.
Says me after I let my pansexual friend wash the dishes.
What the hell? Oh my God.
You know what a pansexual is, right, Tank?
I do know what a pansexual is, and I get the joke.
I don't really know what a pansexual is other than a person who's bisexual.
Well, you can only be bisexual if you believe there's two genders.
Right.
So
Right.
if you believe there's multiple genders, then you are a pansexual.
I
So
believe that
really,
chromosomes are expressed in a binary, regardless if you have extras or not.
oh yeah, okay.
That's called science. I know you don't like that stuff, but
I
science.
don't, but I agree with you, but I don't like science. Yes.
What's wrong with America today in one photo?
Made in China.
That's right. Obey
Mm.
King Biden. Come on, great reset. Here we go, buddy.
It's happening.
It, hell yeah, it's happening. I knew it was going to happen. I when the legislatures wouldn't give up or went ahead and certified their elections, I pretty much knew that Biden was going to be the man. So there wasn't any point in having any hope after that because the Republicans are weak, spineless cowards 90% of the time, and unless it comes to going to war, and then they push really hard.
Right.
Yeah. Or bailouts. They like bailouts. Gavin Newsom dines at a restaurant with 12. Pigs from animal farm dine inside while the other animals are forbidden indoors.
Well, yeah, that's definitely got some parallels there. And that's what gets me about this whole thing. Like the people that are most outspoken about, you know, whatever it is, flatten the curve, whatever it is today, they like they can look and see that Nancy Pelosi and Gavin Newsom doesn't give a shit about their own mandates, and Whitmer and all these guys. So like if your leaders aren't afraid of this, like if you can tell they're lying, then why do you care? I just don't understand the reasoning.
Yeah, because they're sheeple.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
literally, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, we could get more complicated. We can go off in the weeds, but yeah, they're just sheeple. They're not, yeah, or they're not very complicated individuals, and they're all persona, which is just like
mm-hmm,
the exterior self that has nothing to do with anything deeper,
mm-hmm.
surface level, as you would. Here we have Diddy. White men like Trump need to be banished. Okay.
All right, thank you,
And here we have
Buff
Diddy.
Daddy.
Here we have Diddy as well.
Is this an old picture?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Back when rappers like Trump? Yeah,
Well, yeah, it's just all his hypocrisy. It's all fake.
yeah.
Here we have We Are Changed, Luke Rakowski, I should say. We cannot have people loafing about doing nothing and expecting the state to finance their lifestyle. And this is your Congress, folks.
Oh my God.
Making
I should be a congressman.
making
Maybe
$200,000 a year. Yep.
maybe that's what we should do. We should just take Kiz's approach and be like, you know what, just let me run shit. Like I'll just take care of everything.
Yeah, they don't do nothing. It's all the aides and the staffers that do stuff, and they don't even do anything. Mostly, it's the corporate lobbyists. They write all the bills, and basically, these people just get to hang out and vote on stuff. And then we told them, we'll give you your rights back once the virus clears up.
Yeah, okay. Is that Bernard up front?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. But
Yeah.
that's Reagan back there. So
so yeah, Bernard's not that old.
And George Bush. Well, yeah, he is, but I don't know why he'd be hanging out with Reagan. And here we have McConnell, and I don't know who this lady is, but
What?
Is that his mom? I don't know.
I guess so, yeah.
Is that him going transgender?
I like that dude's gingham shirt in the background though. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's a good boog shirt. I
Yeah.
think.
Here we go again with the Fedposting after we said
Yeah. Well, look, man, I don't do Hawaiian shirts. All right, so it's like some sort of flannel or something. All right.
No, dude, you look good in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What people think villains look like and what villains actually look like. Yeah.
Are
I
you
can't
saying
help it.
are you saying Thanos is right? Is that what you're saying?
No, Thanos is part of the Great Reset.
Oh, but yeah, okay.
So here we have, okay, sir, it's time to get to the guillotine. When I was your age, $600 will last me a year.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, don't worry. No one's watching us right now, not even the NSA. They're worried watching what's going on in DC at the moment. Yeah, that's right. Just crack open another beer. If you need 30 rounds to hunt, you suck at hunting. Dyslexia is strong today. If you need a disarmed society to govern, you suck at governing.
Oh man. Well, it's not that I suck at hunting. It's that's I want to be efficient.
I mean, my weapons are multi-purpose. It's the way I put it. I probably would never,
Yeah.
Actually shoot somebody, but you never know. I mean, it is against my religion, but I'm also human and prone to error.
Right.
So, what a lockdown should actually look like.
Ooh.
I'm not sure who this lady is up here.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Is that Boris Johnson in the background?
Yeah, that's Boris.
Okay.
Health Minister of Belgium.
Jesus, that's diabetes. Woo!
Yeah. I guide others to a treasure that I cannot possess.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That is actually the Health Minister of Belgium, though.
Gosh, she looks like Jabba the Hutt. Jesus Christ.
That's the lady telling you how to be healthy. How not to get the coof.
Does she tell you to eat carbs? Just curious.
All I know is it's not a good look to when you have chins in multiple areas to be the health minister. That's all I know. Who decided that? I have no idea. Anyways, please stand 6 feet apart before checking in. 30 minutes later. I feel like I used this one before, but oh well.
I even wonder though about planes in general, like because I seen this guy was bitching on Twitter about some lady on a plane not wearing her mask, and I'm like, aren't there HEPA filters on airplanes? Like, wouldn't that be the last? Yeah, it seems like the HEPA filter would be better than the mask.
Well, I mean, I flew out to Washington State back in the summer, and anytime you were eating or drinking, you didn't need to wear a mask.
Yeah.
That was their rules, and basically half the time I left the mask hanging off my face.
Yeah.
Off my sunglasses because it's stupid. I was sitting beside my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, thank the God the virus can't move sideways.
It's like chess, bro. You can only move in a certain direction.
Yeah. Well, I had one with the urinals blocked off. I actually seen that. I forget where we were going. It might have been we went up to New York. At the end of October, or was it November? Whenever it was. Went up to Albany to go see my wife's family, and we stopped off at a McDonald's, and I used the bathroom, and there's 2 bathroom stalls. One's blocked off, or 2 urinals. One's blocked off, and there's 2 sinks, and one's blocked off because of COVID. And I'm thinking, I'm the only one in the bathroom. What is wrong with these people? Like, I don't get it. If I owned a business, like this would not be the way I would be conducting myself. But whatever.
Whatever.
Says, watching the part in V for Vendetta where the government creates a virus and uses it to seize power over its people.
Is that Luke Rakowski again? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I stole a couple from him this week, and I didn't cut them.
Well, that's fine. You can steal from his Instagram.
Well, I had, probably picked up 500 memes in the last 7 days. So as typical. So I had to sort through them today because I've been busy doing other stuff.
Right.
COVID-19, adding food to your drink order.
Okay, so what's your opinion? Kickboxer or blood sport? Which one's better?
Oh, kickboxers a billion times better.
You know,
Blood sports based on a bunch of nonsense.
I've seen blood sport more times, but I do think that kickboxer is better.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I'd like to say Cyborg's better than both of them, but I haven't watched it in years.
What about Time Cop? That's the
Um, the only good part of Time Cop is his girlfriend or fiance or whatever, the girl from Ferris Bueller. She's
yeah.
pretty cute. Other than that, I don't remember anything about the damn movie.
He's a cop that goes through time. That's the whole plot, bro. Like it's in the title.
What about Double Impact?
Oh, I haven't seen that one in a long time. We're gonna have a Jean Claude Van Damme stream where we just talk about Van Damme movies. Have you seen Jean Claude Van Johnson on Amazon?
I think I've seen an episode or two, but not really.
Oh my god, bro, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I grew up doing martial arts and watching,
Yeah.
Van Damme movies when I was, a preteen, early teen, all that stuff. So
Mm.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Universal Soldier. I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the movies. Lionheart. That's a pretty good one.
That's a deep cut. Yeah, you're pulling that one out.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's why I said Cyborg, man, because it was one of his first movies. Although there's not much martial arts in it. Trying to think what else he's in. But yeah, the whole Frank Dux story is a bunch
Yeah,
of nonsense, anyways.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Which they should have known back then. Well, I guess with the rise of MMA, I guess a lot of people realize that a lot of the martial arts are bullshit. But back then, you could say, "Oh yeah, dude, I was totally fought in a super secret martial arts tournament," and people would believe it.
It's not even a. They were nonsense. It's the way you train. It's like I say it all the time now with MMA. People, I remember used to watch and people be like, "You can't do like a spinning kick," and then people do it all the time now. They're like,
Yeah,
you couldn't run up a cage and jump off of it and kick somebody. And Anthony Pettis said that.
yeah.
You can't do this or that. Hell, there was a I can't remember the guy, but just a couple months back, there's a guy, he threw a kick, got his leg caught, and he spun around at a spinning back kick straight to the guy's face, and the guy went down like a log, just
hmm
stiff as a board. And it was amazing. And people were like, "You can't do that stuff. You can't do this." And it's like, no, you can. You just got to know how. You got to know how to set it up, and you got to train against real resistance. That's the thing. Like jujitsu, one of the reasons why Brazilian jiu-jitsu became good is because they constantly sparred.
hmm
And a lot of classical jiu-jitsu, they don't spar as much, they don't
Right.
roll as much.
Yeah.
Of course, Brazilian jiu-jitsu decided to get rid of the throws mainly. But anyways, back to the memes. This is 27-year-old 1943, 27-year-old 2013. Isn't he precious?
I like those pajamas.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you better be living in the wood and cutting down some trees. Is all I'm saying, Tank. Drinking maple syrup and eating flapjacks.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I've never been a big breakfast guy anyway, right? I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I can't eat breakfast. And my wife, God love her, she is like one of these wake up first thing in the morning, eat a stack of Belgian waffles. And I can't do it. I don't understand how anyone can do it. So it's not even because Belgian waffles aren't even heavy, so it's not a heaviness issue. It's just something that sweet and ridiculous in the morning just drives me crazy. But I don't know. So yeah, I'm not gonna be drinking maple syrup out of the bottle, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to skip breakfast. Well, my breakfast right now is coffee, butter, collagen, a little bit of colostrum, which I take first, actually, and creatine. That's my breakfast.
So you're talking about collagen protein powder, right?
Huh?
You're talking about collagen protein powder?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I took that stuff for a while. I do like it. It's one of my favorite. I feel like it's one of the easiest protein powders to like drink. But I don't know. I've heard that it's not as good as other protein powders.
It depends on what you're looking for. As far as for me, it's for like joint repair,
Okay.
healthy nails, all that stuff. Also, I eat a lot of meat, so a lot of muscle meat has methionine. You can get
Mhm.
too many methylated groups, so you want the collagen uh, to offset that. And so tonight I made country style beef ribs, which has a lot of collagen in it, and I raised them, and so they broke down. So I got to eat collagen then.
Right.
We tend to not to eat that kind of stuff in our diets
Mhm.
anymore. Uh,
Um, I don't know if it's related, but you're talking about joint health with collagen. I used to get really bad, not really bad, but like seasonal arthritis. Like when the weather would start to change to come from like hot to cold or whatever, I'd get like it felt like someone stuck a balloon inside my knees and like started inflating it. It wasn't really pain so much as like pressure. And then when I started doing collagen, it went away. And I don't know if it's related or not, but I have heard that that's part of what collagen will do.
Probably. But I mean, it's hard to say, man. I mean, I've had, especially in the last few years, this past year's been better, but the year before, I was having really bad autoimmune issues
Mhm.
and really bad gut health. I've done a lot better this year. Right now, I've gone back to just an elimination diet where I'm just eating basically carnivore again. I mean, I put some chives in my omelet this morning,
Right.
but otherwise, I'm not eating anything other than meat, animal products. Part of that too is because I want to see if I can do it for long term. Because before in the past, with my gut being messed up, I just couldn't do it because it would give me diarrhea. Right now, it's not bothering me. So,
Yeah.
not to get into the TMI, but that's pretty common with people that go to a carnivore diet. For me, I do it for 6 weeks straight, and it would not stop. Even though I felt good, I slept better. I actually got up at 9 a.m. today, not at like noon.
Oh wow.
I know. I went to bed at like 1 o'clock. It's amazing.
Uh,
The morning before I was up at 5:30 a.m.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I fasted the other week and everything else because I know I needed to reset my system. Um, but you'd be surprised how often what your body's going through is a allergy or some sort of you know um, reaction to food. Like for instance, I never used to have a reaction to beer, histamines. Now beer makes me, depending, but wine especially makes me very congested the next day.
Hmm.
So, um, but you develop these things as your body breaks down. You're not getting the proper nutrients over the years, and when you're younger, you can take a lot more crap. And now that I'm on the doorstep of 40, it's not quite the same. Anyways, next meme. People in 1944 facing almost certain death. People in 2020 facing a
Mm.
99.9% survival rate.
Woo. Yeah. I mean, it just ain't like that anymore. Um.
Too comfortable, man. We're too comfortable.
Yeah.
We yeah, I don't know. Came for the meme, stayed for the face talk, the feces talk. Nice. Someone in the chat here. Well, thanks, bro. Anyways, have you seen this? CNN. Have you ever noticed the popularity of black aliens? The reason for these shades of extraterrestrial black may be racism, according to new research.
Oh my God. H.R. Geiger, it did a lot of acid. Like, I mean, what do you want? Like, not everything's got to be this complicated.
He was a little twisted, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it just mean the aliens, though. It means any and all aliens. Of course, orcs now are racist, right? From
Oh my God.
Dungeons and Dragons and whatever other games.
Yeah. I play a good bit of Dungeons and Dragons, and no normal person I talk to that plays Dungeons and Dragons cares about that thing. There's always been races in Dungeons and Dragons, and they come with different ability modifiers or whatever. And it's never been an issue until now. So I don't know what it's all about.
Well, I
But,
mean, because the commies are strong right now. I mean, that's
well, yeah, and you got a lot of nerds that play Dungeons and Dragons, and they're all about like inclusivity. And I'm like, dude, it's a fantasy world. Like, you can just not like orcs. That's fine. There can be just
I've
an
never
evil.
met any nerds that are about that stuff. Think of all the gamer nerds.
That's true. Yeah.
What I see is a bunch of people who don't fit in anywhere, and they're like, I'm really weird and don't know how to be normal. Therefore, I need to make society really weird, just like me.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. So, anyways, says if the government has enough money to send to foreign countries, then the government is taking too much money from taxpayers.
Yeah, you would think for sure.
You
But
would think.
I've heard a lot, especially about Israel. I've heard a lot of people saying like how we might give a lot of money to Israel, but what we get in return is worth so much more. And I'm like, bro, I just don't see it. Like, what's made in Israel that we need so bad?
We subsidize them highly. It has to do with Zionists and just stupid stuff, and they're our ally in the Middle East. And I mean, the reality is it has to do with world government, dude. And what's funny though is the UN condemns Israel all the time, and at the same time gives China and stuff a pat on the back. So
I heard one argument was that we give all this money to Israel, but we get so much more money back in research and development. And I'm like, the only thing Israel's ever created is the Soda Stream and the Desert Eagle, the least tactical firearm on the planet. So,
well, Galils are pretty awesome, but they're basically just a reinvented AK. But look, Israel's also a socialist nation, but they probably wouldn't be if we didn't give them foreign aid.
Right.
So,
yeah, they probably could afford it.
Yeah. Not that they don't have a free market, but they are considered a socialist nation. So,
I just think if we're going to give them this much money, I should get a free vacation there, like at least once every decade. But we don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It would have been cool when I was in the military if it wasn't during 9/11 when I was over there, if we could have stopped off in Israel, because normally that's a normal little libo float. But like IDF girls are pretty hot, so
yeah.
Anyways, says me at the Family Dollar with my $600. Yeah, buddy.
Oh my god. I just had to buy a new cell phone because mine broke, and being the guy that's super anti-technology, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. And I have a prepaid plan actually through Verizon.
Go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
So I went to Walmart to buy a phone, and it was like $70. I'm like, damn, I can't believe I'm getting out this cheap. Dollar General had the same phone I had for like $35. And I looked at my wife's phone, which is like $800. And I'm like, man, it's not worth that much.
Yeah. I was gonna say, when I initially looked at this, I thought this was a little kid. But I guess it's a woman because she's sitting there buying Noops.
Did you call them Newts?
Noops. You know what a Noop is?
No, I've never heard anyone call it a Noop.
I don't know, man. I grew up in redneck ghetto area. What am I supposed to tell you?
A Noop.
Yeah, man. You got a Noop? It's old Newport.
I had a one of the women that I dated and didn't marry, obviously. All she ever smoked was Newports. It's crazy expensive, for that habit.
Yeah. Are there any countries that tax their citizens and then send it to Americans? Just curious.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. That tells you though, that should tell Americans something. It should tell everyone something about what the United States actually is, and that we are the global, as we're called, the global leaders. We're actually the military arm of the UN. We're running a world government, folks, already. It's just not completely solidified or sovereign. Right. That's coming soon, though. 2030, Agenda 21 and the Great Reset. If you refuse the vaccine, you're no longer welcome in society. Me. I mean, you know my thoughts on this. I'm all about getting homesteading. My wife texted me today. She's been out of town all week. She's like, it's a priority for us to buy land, like right away. Yeah, you're telling me. I've been saying it for freaking 2 years.
Yeah. My brother's actually talking about buying some undeveloped land or around here and building one of those um what's it called? Shipping container houses. You seen those where people like he found a place where he could get like he get shipping crates at about they're 20 by 8, I believe. And he said he can get them for like $2,000 a piece. And you stack those fuckers up and you've got a house. Not a big house, but you could basically build an off-grid house for nothing.
Well, I suggest he looks further into it because I've seen things that they're not actually as cost efficient as people would like to think that they are.
They're probably not, but it's a lot less. If you just buy the wood, you could probably build like a 20 by 16 house. Cheaper.
You know, a cheap tank.
What?
A double wide. A double wide.
That's true.
A double wide is quite cheap. You're talking about 20 grand.
But they burn down in 7 minutes, so you got to watch that.
Maybe. They're pretty nice these days too, though.
Yeah.
Let's see. COVID-19. Woohoo! COVID-19. Heart disease, cancer, medical error, getting killed by the Clintons, murder hornets, diabetes, the flu, Carol Baskins, COVID-19.
I like how Carol Baskin and murder hornets are on there.
I mean, you don't know.
I don't know. No.
COVID didn't create food shortages, high unemployment, and shut down businesses. The government did.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, nothing to do with the coof. New Year's Eve, Wuhan versus Times Square. Kind of hate that I'm using a turning point meme, but whatever.
Man, we were watching the New Year's Eve ball drop live, and that was one of the most sad things I've ever seen in my life. It looked like everyone was there to pretend to have fun. That was there. They were all roped off in their own little individual areas.
I went to a friend's to a super spreader event, so I don't know.
Yeah,
he said all fireworks. So
hell yeah.
I don't know. I don't really care. Anyways, and then we have this. Old De Blasio and his lady-o.
That's his wife?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you didn't know about this? They were in Times Square. This is from Planet of the Apes, by the way, if you aren't aware. For
yeah.
But she has a little mask on that has little triangles on it that are like a symbol for pedophilia, known to the FBI. I didn't bring that up, but yeah, quite strange why she would have that symbol on her face. So here we have, might as well finish 2020 off with a bang.
Okay, are you a Gremlins 1 or Gremlins 2 guy?
Oh man, you know what? Gremlins 1 is dark. Really dark. Especially the story where Phoebe Cates is talking about her dad, like getting stuck in the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
But Gremlins 2 is hilarious. I haven't seen either one in forever. But I really like Gremlins 2.
Yeah, I think I like Gremlins. This is also a blasphemous take. I like Ghostbusters 2 better.
Hey, you got a little banner you need to fly right now.
He has not done it yet, and when he does, I will play the banner.
Oh, okay. I thought you just had one welcoming him.
No.
Welcoming him. I don't know why I can't talk today, man. I was trying to record. I mean, I made 2 videos today, but I was trying to record earlier, and I was like, blah, 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 and I was like, okay, take 2.
Oh my God.
Anyways. When you realize the Mayans were dyslexic and the world ends in 2021, not 2012. All right. These are kind of more random. Y'all got any more of that virtue? Or am I going to have to work on myself? I already bought these. We got F capitalism, borders are racist, equality. I stand with end sexism, gun control now.
I'm not going to shill it because I do all the time, but if you look at this meme and you think there's something to it, then you should read Industrial Society and its Future by Ted Kaczynski. He has entire section on leftist psychology.
I really do need to get around to reading that whole thing, actually, just for my personal information.
Yeah. Another good one is he has a little essay called "The System's Neatest Trick." I'm just gonna shill it. We don't need to get off in the weeds, but read those two things, people.
It don't matter. We're almost done.
Yeah,
and I mean, there's only going to be so much we can talk about DC right now until it's unvoted. I have no doubt that the news is going to be like, see the right wingers and how terrible they are after, Antifa and BLM burned everything down.
Well, you are wearing a plate carrier on the stream, so
it's not a plate carrier. It's not a plate carrier.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
No. This is just a chest rig. No body armor involved. And it's also a joke. Whoa. Did I lose one? Uh-oh. It disappeared. Oh, well. That was a wordy meme. Let's see. It says, what's the moral difference, if any, between an S poster and a civilian? It's like an S poster challenges the status quo through dank memes and wristbands and diminishing relationships in order to promote freedom of thought. A civilian does not.
This is a very Kizza meme.
It's a very Kizza meme.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get that one up I had before. Nope. Where'd you go, meme? Nope. Huh. All right.
Ooh.
This air freshener didn't hang itself.
Oh my god, it's one of my favorite meme formats. Is all the Epstein stuff, and it's the only conspiracy theory that people are allowed to believe. If you notice, like in our cultural psychology or whatever, that's the only conspiracy theory you can talk about. That it's weird. The only person that does not believe that Epstein didn't commit suicide is Scott Adams, of all people.
I think it's totally possible that he could have, because I actually have found a guy hanging exactly the way they said that he hung himself, and I've known other guys I used to work with that have found people hanging. In fact, the guy I found hanging, I thought he was praying in the corner, and then I was like, it doesn't quite look right, though.
Right.
I shone my flashlight in there and did a double take, and I was like, he's not on his knees. His knees are off the ground.
Yeah.
But the fact that the guards were asleep, cameras were broken, all that stuff. I mean,
and there's a weird bone broken in his neck that guy never had heard of before in a hanging.
Well, yeah. I mean, bones breaking hangings, but still, yeah. I mean, why would he kill himself, though? That's the question. Because he probably could have finagled his way out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
He probably could have got a reduced sentence as he did before. But Hillary, so whatever. This is, and just like that, little Susie cured the worst virus of all.
It's a pretty old TV, though, so I don't know if it helped any.
Well, you got to like it for the art form. Tell me. Come on.
Art? What? What's art? I don't care about art.
Okay. I don't think this was meant to be so dark. Let's see. Shoot the kids, hang the family, frame them all.
What the? Oh my God!
That's some great marketing, right?
Bro, that's rough.
Yeah, good marketing. Anything. Is this Civil War?
Well, he might be right. Not the Fedpost.
Old Tim. I like Tim. And I'm pretty sure he is right. I think people that are saying that it's not coming are delusional.
Right.
It says, if you have ever wondered what you do during slavery, the Holocaust, or civil rights movement, you're doing it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they'd be, on the beaches of Normandy, but the people that were on the beaches of Normandy did not wear diapers on their face for a 99.9% survival rate. And that's all of my boomer posting I will do tonight.
All right. So here we have how you should talk to friends and relatives who believe in conspiracy theories. Hey, bro, you were right about everything. I'm sorry. From BBC News, how you should talk to friends and relatives who believe in conspiracy theories. Hey, man, you were right. I'm sorry.
Jesus. Yeah.
You'll like this one. It says, a time is coming when men will go mad, and when they will see someone who is not mad, they will attack him, saying, you are mad. You are not one of us. Saint Anthony the Great.
Kyrie eleison.
And then here we have me watching crap unfold, and everyone said I was crazy. I think I'm taller than Joe Pesci at least.
Nah.
I think I am.
Nah.
And that's it. There's that other meme I had open.
Dope. All right. Cool.
Yeah, that's it. We got some of this. That's for later though. So let's get out of the meme cast news, folks.
All right. And we're out of memes.
Okay, Kizza said that Pesci's 5'4", so I'm good. I'm taller. It works. Oh man.
Bill confirmed 5'5".
Yes, at least. Oh. Boo Gear is hot.
Boo Gear is hot. All right.
Boo Gear is hot.
So you're gonna inform me about what happened in DC today because I didn't get to watch it.
Mostly a lot of people went around and protested and then did their little marches. I didn't watch enough of it, but then eventually some people started climbing the Capitol building and went inside and whatever else. And then they started breaking things up, shooting tear gas. And then the mayor declared a 6 p.m. curfew. And before we started streaming, they were pushing people back and away from certain areas. You should have expected this, folks. Like, you have the wrong politics. You have to understand, it's okay to burn things down, and it's okay to murder people, and it's okay to loot and riot, as long as your politics are on the left, because it serves their purposes. And I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I kind of, this is why I don't encourage people to go to these things. I know a lot of people are like, oh, we need to get active. We need to do this and that. And I mentioned to you before the stream that I was watching briefly, just turned on Oozaloo. And Yiz was on there with some of his usual guests. And I can't remember the one guy's name, but he was talking about how, we need to go in there and we need to force the Congress to do this and count things and do that. And it's like, dude, I know you don't live out here, and I don't know you don't understand the DC scene, and most people don't, but that's not happening because since the Cold War, politicians have been basically an imperial royal class. All of DC has subway tunnel systems specifically just so they can travel. And there is a ton of police around all the time. In fact, the only place they don't police heavily is Anacostia, which is where all the black folk live. And so if you go across the Anacostia River, you're in the ghetto, and that's the place where it has the high murder rate. The rest of DC is probably one of the safest areas you can possibly live in the United States. There's a cop literally like every freaking block. And there's a lot of armed security guards all over the place, and there's all kinds of federal buildings with federal security guards. It's not something you can just go in and take over,
right?
Especially without real force. And as I've tried to explain many times before, or would like to say I've explained, the divorce needs to happen because as far as the any sort of conflict goes, you're not going to be on the winning side of that. Not necessarily because we don't have the ability to wage guerrilla warfare or anything else, but because of the left controls all of the institutions. They control every institution, folks. You know this. You know this. If you watch us, if you're aware, if you're involved, you know that they control the media, they control the news, they control Hollywood, they control academia, they control the deep state itself. Everything about the deep state is big government. It's not about Democrats. It's not about Republicans. It hasn't been about that for 60, 70, maybe even 80 years now. What it's about is who's a globalist and who's a constitutionalist. And the globalists far outweigh the constitutionalists. And many of the globalists are just corporatists, which is, de facto globalists because they want to make money, and they're going to do that through China. So I don't know, man. Like we can play some videos. We can talk about DC a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I got the title that we're going to talk about DC without Fed posting. Because we shouldn't, right? We shouldn't Fed post. We should leave that to the chat. But it's a valid criticism to say that, you got these guys that are, and this isn't throw shade. Like I completely understand the desire to Fed post. Absolutely. I have done it myself plenty of times. But Moldbug has this point that I think is pretty good. He says, look, like you're not, like, the cards are stacked against you in society right now. He's like, you need to treat your outlook on the world as if you lived in a different country. Like if you moved to Costa Rica tomorrow, you might keep up with politics, but you really don't care what's going on because it's not your fight. You're not, you're just living there. And that's kind of where we're at in the United States. Is people like us, people on the dissident side of things, we just live here. It's not our country. Some people call that a black pill. I don't think it is. I think there's a difference between a black pill and recon, if that makes sense.
Well, there's an inevitability, and
right.
I say it all the time. I don't mean to be pessimistic or black pill, but I mean, frankly, the way I see it, this is the way things are meant to occur. What is supposed to happen, how it is laid out. I'm not a determinist as far as individual free will, but I do believe that God said, "Hey, these are the things that are going to happen."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just watching them happen, frankly.
Right.
So,
well, let's do this. Because I chose to drink beer instead of scotch on the stream, I have to pee. So let's do a BRB, and we'll come back.
Why don't I just play a video real quick? And
that's fine. Yeah, if you want to do that, I can.
Yeah. I can talk, and you can go do your thing. Let me get the this back up here.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So here, guys, is some stuff. By the way, kids, I'm trying to find that meme for you. I'll DM it to you here in a minute, man. But yeah, we can see here the front here, people. You guys probably can't hear the sound very well. I have it turned down, but it doesn't seem to come across on the thing because I'm using Opera, and we were told that only Chrome works it out with the sound. All right, but we already have riot police out here. There hasn't been, from anything that I've seen, anyone actually rioting. There were people climbing the Capitol building, which was kind of nutty, and there were people that went inside. But you're allowed to go inside the Capitol building, so I don't know. And I also wonder about the narrative, because remember, this happened in Michigan, and when the people came into the Capitol building in Michigan, the narrative from the mainstream media was that the folks stormed the Capitol building and they're in the face of the police officers and this and that. And then Carlin Borysenko talked to the people who created the Patriot rally in Michigan, and they had photos with the police. They got temperature checks on their way in. None of the stuff that they said had happened actually happened. So a lot of this is typical narratives. I even saw a small post earlier from what was it, Right Side News, saying they thought it might have been someone who was like Antifa who started the trouble. It is hard to say, but like I said before, to do this against lefties, evil. To do this against people who believe in populism and the Constitution and national sovereignty, completely justified, because that is how the narrative works.
I almost, yeah, you're right. I don't want to. I agree with you more or less, but having that conversation we had with Matt and years before about language, I think it might be more a matter of less the left versus the right and more the institution versus the outsiders, which I guess could be argued that the institution is more or less left, in a sense anyway. But it's like, my boss today was actually talking about this. He's a pretty like normal conservative type. And he was saying like, well, these guys are rioting or whatever, and they were criticizing the BLM guys for rioting, so it's hypocritical. And I'm like, if you're still concerned about hypocrisy at this point, then you're not concerned about winning, and maybe you're not concerned about winning. A lot of people are black-pilled, but there's a reason why those tactics worked, and some people have to, at some point we have to realize that they worked for a reason. I feel like.
This is Global News. It says Trump supporters continue demonstrations in D.C. defy curfew after violent Capitol Hill riots. There were no riots. There was tear gas employed. There were people maybe being rowdy. There was no burning. There was no looting. There was nothing like BLM. Remember, those were peaceful protests. These are riots. Do you understand yet? Right over here, we have chat is disabled for this live stream. I wonder why. I wonder why.
Well, so if we go back to a meme of the past, the fiery but mostly peaceful protest, right? The shit was literally on fire, and they were calling it mostly peaceful protest. Here, it looks like there's not much going on, and they're calling it a riot. So I mean, it's as plain as day. The shit that's going on, like to even say that, oh, this is just narrative, while it is true, it doesn't mean much. Like this is they're making fun of us at this point, I guess is what I'm saying.
This is WSA 9. I believe this is the local Channel 9 news. I don't watch cable anymore, guys, so I can't recall. But it says pro-Trump supporters storm Capitol, 1 woman dead. This is the narrative. It's always the narrative. This is why I don't encourage doing these things, because you go there and you are the villain, no matter if you are right or not. And trust me, I know what that's like. I'm right quite often when I'm told that I'm wrong, and I'm always the bad guy. I'm always the one who's wrong. Yet I always end up being right. And I shouldn't say always, but often. And this is why I don't believe in doing these things. Then you also take the risk and the chance of being assaulted and hurt by Antifa when they come out. Of course, we've seen time and time again with the Proud Boys where Antifa, they run off, they get away with it. Proud Boys get locked up. And it's not because they're right-wing extremists or anything of that nature. It's because the system is it's biased. Here it says, this is from NBC News. Again, I'm not going to play any sound for copyright, and also because I don't think it'll play anyways on the thing. But it says, live, law enforcement begins to clear rioters from Capitol as curfew take effect. What rioters? Notice that these are rioters. People just walking around, burning buildings in the background, right? People being assaulted, punched in the face. They're not rioters. And it doesn't really look like they have any live chat going on here. Yeah, NBC's live chat is just a bunch of posts that they put up. And what's the most disturbing thing about all this is that these folks will continue to push out these narratives, and people who are sitting at home in front of a TV will not pay attention. Yes. So you have one cop saying, hey, move this way, move that way. Oh, so now they're going to form a line. Like, we can't even say Antifa is a bad organization. Look at that. The cop just stopped that guy, just put his hand on his chest gently. Didn't have to push him, didn't have to do anything. No, don't come up here. I mean,
I actually have some news from D Live right now. It says I got a message in the chat, D Live chat from D Live team that says we have enabled the X tag on your channel due to political content. For more information, please see. It's got a link. I don't know what X tag content is. Apparently, I just looked at the page and it all controversial political views and not safe for work content should be to be tagged as X. I don't know why they did that. It might be because I used some profanity, which I almost certainly did.
It's probably because we're covering this content from today.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, guys. Thanks for everyone in the chat who's following. We got some guys that's following on D Live. Appreciate it. Anyway, even though D Live's got this weird message to us, I don't know what it means. So I don't know. I just want to give an update about what that is.
I mean, we're fine. I wouldn't worry about it. They're just labeling it to
well, we are. If it's just being political content, and it does, in fairness, it does say due to political content, and we are political.
We're a political channel. We always have been.
So I'm not, and I had it labeled as chatting. So maybe that's why. Maybe they're saying that we labeled it wrong, which very could well be. I don't know. I don't want to throw shade on D Live. I think they've been better than YouTube.
Absolutely.
We talked about this with Matt on our stream.
We just got a diamond in the chat.
We just got a diamond. Thanks for the diamond.
We don't know what the crypto means or what.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea how this currency translates, but anything's great. I really appreciate it for anyone who's watching. And yeah, we got a couple of people watching on YouTube right now. That's great, but guys, alternative platforms is where we got to go in the future. So, I fully encourage, I would love to stream one day and we have 0 viewers on YouTube and all of our viewers on D Live. That'd make me very happy. So yeah, just thanks guys, everyone that's donating. What's this guy's name? He's dead, Jim. And some leet speak he's the one that donated the diamond. Thanks very much. Remember, we are on Entropy too. I'll put the Entropy link in the chats. If you guys want to ask some questions or do a poll or some other kind of stupid stuff, we can do that. Kizza will probably Fedpost pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that.
Oh, we got Don for Plebeian Media on. I'm definitely gonna have to watch him later because he is to be on the show next Wednesday as far as everything's scheduled, but apparently his thing's titled What Happened. And that's the thing, guys, is that I live an hour away from DC, but I'm just not of the mind to go to these type of things because I know how this works. And to me, it blows my mind that people just don't understand that if you go down there, you are a target of the media and the left-wing administration. We saw this in Richmond. Oh, gun rights rally, in Richmond the other year, and people came there. They assembled peacefully. They had no issues, but what were they called? They were called extreme right-wingers for walking around, exercising their constitutional right and their state constitutional right. And yet they're horrible, terrible people because they want to keep their guns, because they want to be able to protect themselves, because they like the Constitution, because they like their freedom. If you ain't a globalist, if you ain't a commie, you're a bad person. It's the bottom line. And now, obviously, what's down is up and what's up is down, because that's not true. But you get what I'm saying. The media is going to lie. They do not care about you. They care more about China. They care more about the UN. They care more about the Great Reset. They care more about the institutional power. They care more about their buddies and the big corporations that is siphoning off all of your money right now as you get to suffer not being able to work and your businesses are shut down. That's what they care about. And it is incumbent on each and every one of us to communicate to the rest of Americans who aren't awake, to our parents, to our family, our brothers and sisters, our cousins, whoever it may be, our friends, that this is how things work. And many people on the right are still delusional. I mean, I talked to.
Well, we've talked about this in the past. A lot of people on the right, they don't understand. It's almost like a lot of the people on the right think, well, we have the moral high ground, so we should be winning, and that's just a very naive way of how the world works. Power doesn't flow to the person who's, this isn't Dungeons and Dragons where like the paladin gets, all these cool spells. Like a lot of times the bad guys, they have power because they figured something out you didn't. And I think a lot of people have trouble. They don't like admitting that they're losing because, or that the opponent is winning because they're cheating. They don't. I feel like a lot of times that doesn't really connect with people. But I think it's coming around. I got people like my dad, if we talked about in the past, who's as normal conservatives get, who's throwing around terms like big tech and such, who's paying more attention than he did in the past. And that's it's a white pill moment, but there's a lot more work to be done. And that's kind of what this channel is about. I feel like is that we're trying to bring in people that are, have some dissonant sympathies to the mainstream, message. But I consider the mainstream message, both CNN and Ben Shapiro in this context, to more open and like really thinking about the core and the history of where a lot of these paradigms come from. So yeah, I hope a lot of people will pay attention to that. And, if we can get more engagement and more people talking about stuff, I think that we can spread this idea a lot further.
Sorry there, Tank. I was responding to Kizza because he said war is about winning and power, not being righteous. And I'm saying, yeah, absolutely. But we don't have any institutional power. That's the first thing you have to come to grips with, folks. Every single one of you needs to stop freaking talking about. And don't get me wrong, I think we have more friends in the Republican Party, but we need to stop basically being like the Republicans are doing this and the Democrats are doing that. It isn't about that. It's about globalism versus liberty. It's about basically technocracy and plutocrats dictating everything about your life and you getting to be free. And the Democrats are more in favor of that than the Republicans, but it's not like the Republicans don't go along with it or stop it or slow it down to really any real degree. It's a false dichotomy most of the time. And I do say that it is a left and right issue, but again, we have a false dichotomy about that because the right's seen as the Republicans, the left's seen as the Democrats. And, I got a lot of friends, artsy folks that are more lefty socially, but they're all liberty-minded people. They don't want to impose anything on your life. And they think horrible about the Republicans. This is how they keep us divided. They think the Democrats are the good guys because, they're socially liberal. Well, folks, I'm a liberal. I'm a classical liberal. I want to leave you alone to do whatever you want. I may not have socially liberal ideas personally, but I want you to be able to go do whatever you want. Go be as hedonistic as you possibly can be. Go drown yourself at the bottom of a barrel of beer if you wish. I don't care. Go sleep with as many women as you like or men or whatever. I don't care. I just care that you leave me alone. That's what I want. Mm-hmm. And the minute you come and you put your nonsense onto me, then I have a problem, and I don't like bullies. And I don't want to get into a war or a battle, and I know my potentiality for violence, and I don't want that, and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't agree with it either. I don't think, I think that there's a moral case for being nonviolent. And I would also argue that some of the biggest revolutions that have ever happened, Christianity specifically, but aside from that, Gandhi freeing India, and then later on MLK with his civil rights movement, they were all peaceful movements. There were violence and parts of it here and there, but the people who were seen as the leaders, such as MLK and Gandhi, MLK got his idea from Gandhi, Gandhi got his idea from Christ and the early Christians. They went willfully to their deaths. And we live in this really crazy society where individuality is not really tolerated anymore unless you're individual within that, collective of blue hair people who don't know what gender they are.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure, and that's just the echoes of the society we're living in now, right? Is that it's kind of like that meme where they say, society says be yourself, but then society says be yourself, not like that. I mean, it's a pretty cheesy example, but that's kind of what we're dealing with in the political sphere is like, you need to be open minded, but if you read Ted Kaczynski, maybe that's a little too open minded or something like that, or so it's you can't go by that stuff. You have to seek out the collective of bros, as I'll call it. You have to have people that you can rely on that are will have your back, and that's kind of where you got to build up from. And that's the problem with a lot of people in the right wing sphere. I'm thinking about the Nick Fuentes types, or they're so concerned with like degeneracy or something like that. You see that a lot. Like all these guys are, and there's definitely a space to criticize degeneracy, but these guys apply it so much that they're making more enemies than they are friends. And what you need right now is friends more than anything.
Yeah.
So
what we got right now going on is Congress did reconvene. Actually, it looks like they got everything under control. Let me. Let's see here. So I'm going to bring this up, Tank. We got McConnell talking, speaking about rioters at the Capitol.
Out of this chamber by thugs, mobs, or threats. We will not bow to lawlessness or intimidation.
Oh, bullshit. You've been balancing lawlessness for fucking 4 months.
Yeah, you remember when the Kavanaugh hearings when people were pounding on the doors and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did nothing.
We're going to do it.
Once again, they did nothing. Let me see if I can get C-SPAN instead of...
the process of honoring the will of the American people and counting the Electoral College votes. We've fulfilled this solemn duty.
Old Cocaine Mitch. Yeah, there's nothing live there on C-SPAN. It doesn't look like we got...
States and the United States Congress have faced down much greater threats than the unhinged crowd we saw today.
This is Right Side News. I'm just worried about copyright infringement because you never know who's going to freak out.
They tried to disrupt our democracy. They failed.
No, they ain't trying to just.
Okay, look. So this is disrupting democracy, like a bunch of dudes in polo shirts outside. But rigging a fucking election's not disrupting democracy. Oh my God. Oh, this is why I can't take these guys serious. I'm just gonna. I need to chill out.
Not fear, not force, but the peaceful expression of the popular will.
Guys, we normally don't do this where we just watch other people's streams and comment on it, but this is something that's kind of going on, so bear with us while we do this. Yeah, exactly. Like Kissa says, like, let's ignore Russiagate for last year. Like, we had a president that was democratically elected, more or less, and now they're concerned. They bitched about Russiagate for 4 years, and now they're worried about some dudes in fucking polo shirts outside claiming about an election that was stolen, basically.
Yeah, again, I didn't see any overt acts of violence. I'm not saying people didn't get out of hand and go around, but I did not see the kind of stuff that we saw.
Look,
the summer.
Even if there were some multiple fist fights, okay, if there was violence, if there were guys that were just outside who were fed up with the system and they were, kicking someone's ass, that's not unprecedented in our democracy. So this guy's going to stand up here and say, like, oh, we need to worry about these unhinged guys in polo shirts that are going to, disrupt our democracy. Like, dude, fuck you. Be serious.
Oh, we got Chuck Schumer now, so we know this is real serious now. See, and this is what this is how it gets spun, guys. This is why you don't do this. And I know there are people that I like, and there are people that I watch who live stream, who suggest doing such a thing, but you don't do it because the optics are never in your favor. And honestly, the only thing that you can do is work on your local communities and your local governments, because the federal government is out of control and out of hand and not there for you folks. They're just not there. It's time to wake up to what the reality is. I like this too. Chat is disabled on C-SPAN.
Leaving rioters to stalk these hallowed.
Oh, now they use the term rioters, huh? That's what we're going to do now.
Yeah.
Oh, Chuck.
Stalk the hallowed halls. You're not in church. It's freaking the Capitol building. You know how many times I've driven by the Capitol building? It's not church, folks. Like,
yeah, isn't there a dude like camped out in a tent in front of the White House like year round?
I mean, yeah, and Right Side News, like I brought up here, I can't even keep up with that chat. It's so crazy. But this is stain on our country, eh?
What is he bitching about? That some people are outside making noise. And that's really it, right?
It's all show. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there was one or two idiots that decided to let's break down the doors, let's do this, let's do that. But it's all show. Remember, no stain on the country whatsoever when they did this crap for Brett Kavanaugh. No stain on this country whatsoever, as one Congress lady said earlier, the most secure election ever. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, no voter ID needed, just mail-in ballots. You don't even need to request a ballot. We're just going to send them out, blanket, send out ballots. Most secure ever.
Yeah. Kizza just put a pretty interesting comment in the D Live chat. He said, "Sadly, Bill, they'll defame you regardless of what you do. Remember this rule: if they don't respect you, make them fear you." I don't know. Like, I kind of volley between that. That is a good point. Like,
they can fear me if they come to my home. I don't. Trust me, they have the power, folks.
Well, I guess that's the counterpoint, and I think he's got a point here. But the counterpoint, how are you going to make them fear you? Like, what can you do? They'll throw you off YouTube for saying anything more extreme than that. But like,
you haven't Guy Fawkesed your parliament yet, so that's all I'm going to say, bud. I mean, we love you, but I'm just saying, like that, and that's really my fear is that things will go that direction. I've been saying it for months that people are going to get more and more violent. The problem is it's okay for the left to be violent. They get excused. The news gives them coverage because it in their opinion helps move along the narrative of the left is good, the left are the just ones. It's you're watching WWE on Capitol Hill right now. You have a heel and you got a good guy. And the heel is always the Republicans and the good guys are always the Democrats.
Yeah, for sure. He's dead, Jim. Just put in the chat they are pretty afraid, and that's probably true. That's kind of how I've made sense of a lot of this stuff that's been going on. Is that you know, like the election, like we've talked about in the past, how rigged it was. No one overtly rigs an election to that extent unless they're absolutely terrified. So that's probably a good point. I don't really know what to make of it beyond that.
I don't think they're terrified at all. I think the last 4 years has all been damage control, that they allowed a outsider to come into Washington, D.C., who wasn't a globalist, who wasn't involved with the UN plans. Remember, guys, they keep talking about the Paris Climate Accord as if that means anything. We've done better than what the Paris Climate Accord has called for. We've done better than any nation, yet they keep saying that. They talk about the Iran nuclear deal. They shun Trump for walking across the DNZ in North Korea. The only time they ever were happy with Trump was when he was talking about bombing Syria. Now he's presidential.
Yeah.
Now he's presidential.
That's the presidential thing, right? Is when you're going along with some war. I got to piss again. Hold on.
Makes me wish I was drinking tonight. All right, kids, what do you say? What do you got here? It says then you got to be the stone cold anti-hero and flip the table. I don't know, man. They can't ignore half of the country. So to say that if they weren't truly afraid, they would ignore us, but they can't ignore half of the country. And the reality is that the majority of the country are low information, very low information. Most people are politically unaware of how things actually work. They don't even know that our didn't even know that our system is supposed to run on, like, say, a gold standard constitutionally. They don't care. They don't care that the electoral college is put in place for a reason. They just want to get rid of it. They think it's a direct democracy. Most people just think, like, oh, these people are going to do whatever they want anyways, which is sort of true. And then the rest of them are like, oh, it's a team sport thing. You know, I had an old joke about I don't really watch sports except for politics. I watch the UFC as well, but you know, I don't watch sports, but politics to me is pretty much a sport. It's a team sport. And it's a matter of which team is winning at the time, who's being praised. But no matter what, the reality is that all the institutions are behind the Democrats. They're behind the globalists. They think that they get to dictate to you what's going to happen. And I'm just trying to talk to you guys straight about, I don't want to be disillusioned about who has the power and what we can actually do about it. I think the only way we can do anything about it is divorce, guys. It's separation. It's secession. It's the only solution because there is no other solution. And even that, the commies will come after you. They cannot leave you be. They will come after you. The goal of communism is to spread across the world. The goal of globalists is to spread their beliefs across the world to control every single human being in every mind. And it's the unfortunate reality. And I know I'm getting into like Alex Jones territory here. You know, I make fun of myself saying I'm a little Alex Jones, but it's the reality, guys. I've been reading this stuff for over a decade, for like 15 years. They write about it repeatedly. They've been setting these things in place since the 1930s. Actually, go back before then, but really that's when it started taking hold. We go about business as usual. We ignore the Constitution. We do whatever we want. And then people who are, good old red-blooded Americans, they're the evil ones because they are impeding progress.
We will work together in this body to be able to set a peaceful example for the days ahead.
Who is it? Who is this guy? Who is Senator James Lankford from Oklahoma?
I don't know. I want to hear what a couple of them have to say, though.
Look at this chick wearing a mask by herself, talking at a podium.
Electoral vote certification. You can watch all that live on C-SPAN 2. We're waiting for the House to come back into session. Day 2 at 2:15 this afternoon.
And that's the thing, like, so they're doing this joint sessions of Congress to count the electoral votes. All right. Let's just assume that
At some point, the Senate will
one of these guys from the Proud Boys or whoever it is kicks open that door for real, like a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, and goes and chokes out Mitch McConnell. Let's just assume that happens in this awesome world that I've built. Those electoral votes still get counted. It's not like that's really a threat to the democracy. They're going to do what they're going to do regardless.
Well, they're going to get Trump out of office.
Yeah,
regardless.
and that's the thing is they're playing it up like it's an invading country or something. When Chaz or the Chop or whatever you want to call it, takes over a block of Seattle and kills some dudes, it doesn't even touch the news. That's just whatever. But a couple guys just making noise outside, all of a sudden that's a threat on our democracy. Like they have any like they can really do anything.
Is this reminding you that we're not a democracy?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was about to tell him I know, but Tank doesn't.
I'm just using their language. I get it. Like I don't believe that democracy can exist myself, but we've had this national myth that we're ruled by the masses, and we're absolutely not. And we've had this conversation in the past. Everyone knows.
Well, it's easy to basically say, hey, I'll give you money or I'll give you free stuff. Vote for me. This is democracy.
Yeah.
That's what democracy always is. That's why I say democracy is essentially communism. Always is, always has been. Who invented democracy? The Greeks. What they did in their little city-states? They gave each other stuff. And they made sure that certain people couldn't get so rich and certain people wouldn't be so poor. They redistributed wealth. Like these ideas are very old. They go back forever. We're just re-rolling them out over and over again. I love it when I read stuff from academics and they talk about like Plato's Republic, for instance. And they're like, well, Plato really wasn't an authoritarian. He didn't really believe these things. This isn't that what he really meant. It's like, well, maybe not. But this seemed to be the way he wanted to organize society. And Aristotle had quite a few things about the way Plato, who was his mentor, wanted to organize society. So,
I mean, yeah. I personally, I don't get too caught up in the weeds on that sort of thing. For my own personal outlook on life, like I said, democracy is not something I even think is possible. If you, I think I've mentioned the book by James Burnham, The Machiavellians, and he argues the same point that, whoever becomes president tomorrow, if it's Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or whoever, you got all these guys in the CIA, the FBI, the FDA, the whatever, that their job function is basically not going to change, and these guys were not ever voted in. So that shows you right now that we're not a democracy, and two, pretty much every democracy's ever has worked like that. So democracy is not really possible. But it's a myth. It's kind of like it's our foundational myth for our country that we're a democracy, and it's sort of the progressive American exceptionalism. They could criticize this concept a lot, but they really apply it, and that the United States has this unique system that was forged out of whatever, and it has to be protected at all costs, and anyone who even flips the bird at it is some force to be reckoned with, as we're seeing tonight with these guys in polo shirts yelling outside of a door. Now all of a sudden it's this huge threat to democracy. It's bullshit, and we both know it's bullshit, but I've just been drinking, so I'm kind of rambling here a little bit, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's all right. Wait, that's the show right there, is rambling. I'm not drinking along with you because I'm trying to get myself in the shape. I got a little training evolution to go to here at the beginning of February.
So Kiz has just said something in the chat. It said almost all our problems are due to aristocrats, power, minority.
Always will be, though. That's the nature of man.
Well, for me, I don't
can't solve these problems. They're not really solvable. The only thing we can do is slow them down.
I don't necessarily even view it as a problem of aristocrats per se, because I'm not necessarily opposed to the concept of aristocracy. I think the issue, as Moldblood puts it, is that the people in power are not responsible. So, ideally, you want to live in a society where those who are making the biggest decisions, if those biggest decisions go to shit, they're responsible. They're on the hook for them. But what we have is this diffusion of responsibility where the people with the most power can absolutely fuck everything right up, and it's whatever to them. They suffer no consequences.
We let everyone vote. We let anybody and everybody vote.
Oh,
at 18, mind you.
Yeah,
well, it'd be like 25.
There's absolutely a lot of theories for why that's the case, but I think that's a point that people don't necessarily understand. When I first heard it, it was news to me that like the people who control your life are not responsible. They can fuck it up, and you'll just have a fucked up life, and it's on you. It's not on them.
Do you know who the most coveted voting bloc is? They'll teach you this if you're in any sort of political fundraising or in any sort of activism. The most sought after political voting bloc is the independent. Why? Because the independent tends to take up issue, whether they lean left or right. They tend to take issue with the actual issue, meaning that they tend to be the most informed. People on the right tend to be informed as well, but they're traditional, and young people aren't necessarily traditional. It's a give me that the young people are going to go to the Democrats. Of course, it's a give me that black folk are going to go to the Democrats, and everybody else no one cares about. It's like this little tiny block of undecided independents that they're going after. And even those folks are usually ensconced into the system. And I've met plenty of smart person in my day who didn't know that the Federal Reserve Bank was a private institution. Thought it was a federal institution. And it's like, no. And they're like, well, no, they have oversight. But there's federal oversight. No, they don't really have oversight, guy. Like, there's a committee. Sure. They don't do anything. They're not really allowed in. It's never been audited. But this is the kind of stuff that I'm glad that things are going on the way they are, because it's waking people up. I don't think it matters, because I think the government is just far too it's just far too powerful right now, and the government's going to just keep doing what it wants to do. Who's going to stop them? It's not going to be the left. It's not the progressives. What's silly is the people on the right are actually against what the government's doing. The people on the left, they say all kinds of crazy stuff. They're not actually against anything. They're all about government power. They just think that they're not, because, well, they're useful idiots, and they'll be the first ones to go. And damn it, no, I can't stare at myself in the camera and try and fix my hat because it's going to blow.
That game's strong.
There we go. There we go. Trying to get it straight. Anyways, let's see what we got in the chat. Kizzo talking. No accountability equals no rights.
He's
Yeah.
not got very spicy yet, and I'm a little sad.
No Fed posts.
No Kizza Fed post yet. Yet we still got 30 minutes though, so we'll see. But yeah, he's gonna come on Saturday, so maybe we can dive into this topic a little bit more. But you know, to go back to before, like we're not a democracy. You know, a lot of and that I feel like that is a good point to make to certain people. But it doesn't go very far in terms of convincing people. You know, in my ideal world, all of you get.
Sorry, I'm about to screen share this here in a second. Go ahead.
In my ideal world, you know, all you guys have read Ted Kaczynski, and we're all on the same page about reshaping society. But yeah, it's not going to happen. You know, you got a lot of normal people, and a lot of people just don't buy into that line of reasoning for where we should go. What is this?
This is the BBC, but look at this picture. They got Glocks with extended mags or something here.
Who is that? Who is that supposed to be?
Who's who? What's supposed to be?
Like, what am I looking at? So I see the seats here. Who is those people with the Glocks? Oh, is it through
That's
the
the security, dude. That's the security there. You don't. That's what I'm saying. You don't understand. You don't understand how much security is in Washington D.C. So this is BBC News.
To approve the election result. Shortly before the clashes, President Trump had addressed his supporters near the White House, telling them that he would never accept defeat. Within the past hour, President-elect Biden called on Mr. Trump to tell his people.
When did we start doing this president-elect thing too? I don't know when that happened, other than this year. I never remember anyone ever using the term president-elect. President-elect. It's such gaslighting. It's so much programming. It's insane.
The peaceful
So this is
transfer of power
these are the riots.
cornerstone of American democracy.
We got a guy getting pepper sprayed.
Yep. This is nothing compared to what Antifa does. This is the most I've seen. Now people, that guy sprayed back.
The Congress, where America's
How can you back that up a little bit?
Yeah, man.
To show where that before that.
The peaceful transfer.
So there's that. They're pepper spraying some guys.
Highly abstract concept today.
Okay, so it looks like a cop punch first. Yeah, it looks like a cop punch first on that one. So
100%. If I did that when I used to work for the sheriff's department, I would have been in serious trouble.
Yeah.
100%.
So
Clashed with police.
But see, these people are in DC. These cops live in the DC area. They live in the surrounding Maryland area. And you have to understand, it's very liberal. I know. I grew up in Western Maryland, but close enough to where I know. I used to date a lot around DC. I met my wife down in DC. Like these cops work for the mayor, and the mayor's a leftist, and she's done everything she can, and she's told them do this, do that, and I guarantee it. And you didn't see this with the Antifa BLM stuff down there.
Tried and succeeded to storm the Congress, where America's elected leaders had gathered to certify the election victory.
What does that mean to succeed in storming Congress? Like they didn't go in there and hang those.
White House.
They didn't go in there and hang those guys by their necks, you know. So what does it really mean to succeed in storming Congress?
All that was open back in the day. You used to be able to walk up to the White House and go in.
Cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
Many of his supporters needing little encouragement to join the fight.
We're here to support, you know, if violence happens, like it happens, but we're not going to start it. You know, we're just like here to defend ourselves.
Those guys look like Antifa.
I'm a Mexican immigrant. I support Trump. freedom is paid for with blood, and tyranny always masquerades itself as safety and security. And that's what we're fighting against right now.
But that, like what he just said right there, is not. That's not a spicy take. That's
it's
been,
not.
Yeah, that's been that's been the American standard supposedly forever.
On the doors of Congress.
Yeah. Do these people look like they're rushing in?
Yeah,
ransacking the
bro.
place.
That's a riot.
Yeah, that's a riot.
Bro, I've seen fucking soccer hooligans
This is a
riot harder
riot
than that.
because
Police
what?
never
One
dealt with
idiot.
anything like this.
But this is what I'm talking about, the
woman
division.
protester being shot inside the Capitol building. A stretcher was sent in. She was later given CPR.
So one woman was shot. Let me rewind that.
Okay, wait. Why in the world would you give CPR, which involves chest compressions, to a gunshot victim?
Well, depends on where the shot's at, where the wound's at.
Like this.
In my CPR class, we were taught if you see blood, do not do chest compressions.
I can tell you right now, you can't go in the Capitol building with a weapon. They search you. They search you for knives in every federal building. They will search you.
Yeah.
You go through a metal detector. So if someone was shot, it had to have been by security.
These pictures appear to show a woman protester being shot inside the Capitol building.
Appear, huh?
A stretcher was sent in. She was later given CPR. A protester breached the inner sanctum of the chamber.
The inner sanctum. It's the most holy of holies, like the Jewish temple, where the Ark of the Covenant sits, in God's very resting place. The inner sanctum. There is no inner sanctum. It is just the chamber where Congress meets. That's it.
Yeah.
The president had to be removed to safety by his Secret Service detail. And then the joint
Well, that's the
session
Senate,
was
actually.
adjourned. Earlier, the Republican Senate leader, for so long a loyal lieutenant of the president, turned on him with this withering assessment.
This election were overturned by mere allegations from the losing side, our democracy would enter a death spiral.
It's been
yeah, and we're not in mere allegations, Mitch. Sorry. Anyways, that's enough on that. Again, not to try to avoid copyright strikes. Because it says he thinks the BBC is being retarded, honestly, but
yeah, you don't CPR. I mean, I'm not denying this. Maybe she got shot, but you don't CPR a gunshot victim. That's pretty stupid.
Yeah, well, depends, but depends
like I said, like when I was in my CPR class, they said if you see blood, don't do chest compressions because you're pumping blood out of their body. Yeah, I mean, if I knew they'd only been
bleeding controlled, and they're
yeah, that's true. Okay, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean, in our first aid class, we don't do tourniquets really, so I guess that makes sense. Okay, I'm full of shit. I'm sorry, guys. My bad.
Well, and like I said, it would depend. It depends on where you be shot at. Yeah, you're not trying to pump more blood, but if the person has very low blood pressure, I mean, the main thing is you want to keep them alive, right? You're if you're a first responder, and then you want the EMTs to do their thing, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, that's the stuff they were talking about, though, and that, from what I could tell, looked pretty mild, and I mean extremely mild. Recall that Antifa was at Ted Wheeler's house setting off fireworks at his apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're calling this riots, but the news for months said peaceful protest
in front of a fire. In front of a fire.
Yeah, I know. We had the memes, right?
Dude stood in front of a burning building and said, "Fire, mostly peaceful protest."
No, I mean it's absolute insanity, dude. All of this is, and I have no idea what to say about it other than you should have expected this. You should have expected that folks were going to get rowdy. There was a call to rowdiness. I actually think that Trump probably appreciated some of it, but again, who controls the institutions? And then they just are going to demonize Trump even more. It's going to be Trump encouraged him to do this. He encouraged that. Remember, he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. And it's a juggernaut, guys. It's an unstoppable force. And the only way to stop it is to cut it off. And I hate to say this, but the only way to cut it off is if we go to some sort of major warfare, or we just get gone. Yeah, post alert. Yeah, no, I'm not calling for war. I'm just saying if that happens, and it probably will. I think we got a good 10 years, though. I think we got 2 administrations. I think we have the Harris administration and whatever comes out after that. So, and maybe she'll be in for 8 years. I hope not. Go back to the Obama days. But Joe Biden won't be around for more than 2 years.
Right.
He might be gone by the end of this year. It's hard to say. He might die of the coup all of a sudden.
All of a sudden. Yeah, I don't know. I titled the show that we're working on a Fed post. I feel like we've kind of been Fed posting. But yeah, like, I mean, and I'm not, like, just to recap here a little bit, guys, going out and doing what these guys did at Washington D.C., just a little bit that they did, even though it wasn't a big deal, it's really not going to benefit you. I don't see this working out in anyone's favor. Because what we just saw, you go around, you push some security guards, you be loud, you be a little ruckus, and you're going to get labeled as a terrorist. You're going to be labeled as someone who hates democracy. And as someone who legitimately hates democracy, let me tell you, that's probably not a good look. So yeah, it's not going to be, and I get like what you were talking about earlier with some of these other guys' channels who are saying, you've got to stand up, you got to fight, this sort of,
you can't win. You will be crushed. I promise you.
Yeah, you're not going to be watering any trees of liberty with
not only will you be crushed, you will be thrown in Gitmo. You'll be thrown at some federal prison. You'll be made out to be Timothy McVeigh or Uncle Ted or whomever else. You'll be as bad as the Islamic terrorists. Look, man, I'm not saying that the government planned 9/11, but what I am saying is that they let it happen. I have no doubt in my mind about that. And yeah, right. and
this is the best banner I've ever made.
You're right. But we literally, though, allowed that to happen for our own purposes. It's how this stuff works. And what's amazing to me is that people keep with that normalcy bias and go, "Oh no, that's not really no." And okay, well, I'm the crazy one for being able to guess what's going to happen. And don't get me wrong, I pay far too close attention to things than I ever did in the last few years. I've actually taken the last 2 weeks off, but I kind of knew that. I've watched some news here and there, but I knew that this was how this would probably go, and I didn't think that there would be necessarily people climbing the Capitol building or anything like that. I'm not going to sit here and say I called anything like that, but I highly suspected that they were going to, use riot control, and it wasn't just going to be a big gathering like the other Trump rallies were before. And there was a lot of talk about, false flags potentially happening, which, again, you are putting yourself in danger of being a part of that if you go to these things. And just to my opinion, we have to fight things with the ideas. We have to unify together. We have to start voting for the right people. We have to present our own candidates if we can, or we have to break off. but the violent route is just not a winning battle. And again, it's all about narratives. Everything's always about narratives. That is what propaganda is, folks. Propaganda isn't necessarily a lie. It's just a narrative. And whether it's the truth or a lie, the people who control the narrative are the ones who control the power. Information is power. Let me remind you of Winston in 1984. And the end of the novel, he just goes back to being good old Winston and believing everything that he's told. And that is the majority of people, the sheeple, if you would. Because it's easier to go about your life and to eat, drink, and be happy than to pay attention to what's actually going on.
Well, and I honestly, I don't fault anyone for that. If you're the type of person, I have people in my family who just, they do their 9 to 5 and they don't worry themselves with this, and it's probably a good place to be.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there. Yeah,
yeah, not to get too black pilled, but not worrying about this sort of thing is probably better for your mental health than where a lot of us are. But I can't help it. Like this shit's interesting to me, and here we are. With a lot of us really discovering what exactly is going on in the world. It sucks. It does, but it's. I'm interested in this shit. So,
well, if people become aware, is the way I look at it. Like, for instance, so we had Matt Christensen on, and I said to Matt, and I've known Matt for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years or something, but I said to Matt, I'm glad to see you getting tinfoil-y this year.
Yeah.
And I am, because there are too many commentators, there are too many people out there who just kind of ride that kind of line. And I've been watching Tim Pool get a little tinfoil-y too, and I like that. They're starting to see things. I watched a little bit of Tim's show, the end of it last night. I actually ended up passing out during part of it. But Elijah Schaefer and it wasn't Drew Hernandez. Who was on his show last night? Was it Drew? Anyways, whoever it was. He was talking about being a Christian, and they were talking about Revelations and all this stuff. And he's like, does the Bible really say that there'll be a global government and it's economic and this and that? He's like, I didn't know that. Yet I've also watched Tim's show time and time again where people have super chatted him exactly that.
Yeah.
So people hear things, they go in one ear, they go right out the other, because it's just not in their purview of the world. They don't want to assimilate the information. They want to dismiss it. They want to believe, oh, this couldn't happen here, all that stuff. Or, oh, this is religion. I don't believe in religion. I'm atheistic, or I have my own religion, or whatever it is. It's one of those things where people need to wake up and they need to pay attention. Now, I came to certain conclusions and woke up myself and I was like 25. And that's because I got involved with Ron Paul's campaign, and I was more politically active then, at least on a on the ground type level, right? And then I watched shortly after that morph into the Tea Party, and then the Tea Party narrative immediately gets switched and the corporatists come in and take it over. I watched it. So if I saw that then, how do you think I feel about what's going on today? It's not going to be any different. We can start potentially a new party in the United States. I'm not in favor of parties. I think a party system is just retarded. I think you should vote on issues. People go, well, then you have to have coalitions. Not necessarily, but there are ways to approach things. We need more laws on the books for the rulers, for the people that dictate our laws and rules, and less for the people. I think that's for certain. I think we haven't added enough to the Constitution, and we've ignored too much of it. There's a lot of stuff, but in the end, man, it doesn't matter. The United States is hyperinflating right now. The Federal Reserve Bank has put something like 60% of all money just in the last few months. This has gone from 20 some odd percent to 30% in the last few weeks to 60% of all money that has ever been printed since we've gotten off the Bretton Woods standard has been injected into the economy this past year. And the Federal Reserve Bank, I covered this on All Minus One. Hey, first time I plugged it, but I think most people by now, if they watch, yeah, I think
Hey.
most people by now know that I do my own YouTube content, channel all minus one. Anyways, that they are saying in their fiscal release for 2021 is to be another 30 to 60% for this year. And 2 years ish, maybe 3, maybe 1, that trickles down to you and I. And that $30,000 a year that Joe Schmo's making ends up being about $10,000 a year.
Right.
It happens really quick, folks. Hyperinflation happens really, really fast. And I watched this too with the 2008 stock market crash. Now, there is a good side to that. If you have a lot of debt, it gets liquidated pretty fast. But, otherwise, you're screwed. And Klaus Schwab wants to implement the Agenda 2030, Agenda 21 plans, which is the goal, UN goals for 2030. And part of that, he believes in this stakeholder capitalism. Stakeholder capitalism is the idea that only those that own the stocks that actually run the corporations get a say. And of course, they're going to work with governments and whatever else. And you could say, well, Bill, that's how it works now to some degree, but your dollar gets a say now as well. Your dollar doesn't get a say when they close down mom and pop stores and they make you shop at Walmart because it's the only store open, or Amazon. And my main thing is you need to wake up and you need to be prepared. You need to get, food, water, get your ammunition, your firearms, whatever you need so that you can survive, you and your family can survive. Can we go fight? Sure. You're not going to last long. I would hope that the military would not fight you, but just following orders, man, it happens in every society all throughout time. And that was the main message of Jordan Peterson. Don't think that you won't participate, because you will. I love all my lefty friends out there. And I mean, like, people I actually know who are like pretty far leftists. They don't understand that as much as they scream and yell about Hitler, they would have been part of the Nazi Youth Party. They would have, because they're going along with it now. It's called something different, and they're just like, oh, this is the thing. It's like, okay, well, you're a part of an evil thing, a thing that's meant to destroy people's liberties and their rights and pits brother against brother. That's what all this intersectional nonsense is about. It's what all this race war bullshit's about. And there you go. I don't even usually cuss on stream, but the bottom line is it is. And to me, you're my brother if you're an ally. And I don't mean in the lefty way. I mean, you believe in freedom, you believe in liberty, and you're a brother in Christ if you're a Christian or a sister or whatever. But folks, you just need to get real about what's going on here and quit playing that little R and that little D game. And also, Trump's not your messiah. Like, I know most people know that, but and I've supported Trump. Don't get me wrong, but I've never been like big MAGA guy. So I don't know, man. We're closing out the show here in a few minutes. So what do you got to say, Tank? I've rambled enough.
I guess that's it. The goal was to not Fed post, and we did. So we failed miserably in our task, but here we are.
All right, guys, we will be back Sunday at 3 p.m. with our
Saturday.
Sorry that I misspoke there. Yes, he's correct. Saturday at 3 p.m. with our friend Kizza GT, who's in the chat right now on DLive. We didn't have too many people watching on YouTube tonight, but hey, whatever. It's how it goes. But folks, like, again, message straight up. Like, just start waking up to what's actually going on, to understand how the narratives work. I don't really consider myself right wing, but I'm right wing, and that's because I'm right of Mao, as Don from Plebeian Media has to say. So, anyways, we'll be back then. We'll be here next Wednesday. We should have Don the Pleb from Plebeian Media on the show. We're gonna have an early stream that day for his convenience because we like to be kind to our guests. So we'll probably start at 6 p.m. that evening. As far as I know, that's on. I've had no. In fact, I talked to the guy that does his scheduling yesterday or this morning. I forget. I think it was yesterday, and he told me, yeah, he's like, barring nothing happens today. But Don seems to be fine because he has a stream on right now, apparently, or did have a stream on. So, yeah, we'll be here. What do you got to plug there, Tank?
I guess the OnlyFans joke has been worn out, so I don't have anything to plug.
All right, come up with a new joke. All right, guys, you can follow me over at All-1. I've been posting a little bit more religious stuff there lately, but still interrelated. And I have some stuff coming up just about definitions of some things, and I have some stuff about the COOF because it's a big deal to me, and it should be to everybody because this is none of this is warranted. So I'll probably release another video this Friday, I think. I usually try to do at least 2 a week, but sometimes I only get out one. But I am back from my fasted sabbatical. Obviously I've been doing this, but as far as All-1 goes, I was letting that be for a little bit. So go check me out over there on YouTube, Rumble, and Locals. Over on Locals. By the way, Tank, we have a Locals for this channel. You can upload stuff to Locals. You know that, right?
I mean, I know I can, but
there's not much of a point in creating a Locals if
I'm lazy. No. Well, when I get a free afternoon, I'm gonna try to catch everything up on Rumble and Locals. Does Locals do video? I'm not sure if they do.
Yeah, they do. I had to figure it out. When you do, you can only upload to 30 minutes, but you can't upload streams.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
you can upload streams, but only 30 minutes.
I don't know if the stream's only. I don't know how.
I mean, I can put the audio on there. I was planning on doing it on Anchor, but honestly, that's probably not the ship we want to tie up to because they're as bad as YouTube in a lot of situations because it's owned by Spotify. I know Ethan Ralph, he got the kibbutz relatively recent, or maybe last year. But yeah, so.
All right. Anyways, guys, this is Inside Baseball. We can talk about after the show. With all that, folks, we thank you for joining. Again, we'll be live Saturday, 3 p.m. Kizza, I'm sure we'll have plenty to say about tonight's show and what's happened. Obviously, we'll have more information by then. We'll be back Wednesday, as far as I know, with On the Pleb at 6 p.m. instead of the normal 7 p.m. Eastern time slot. So with all that, folks, this has been The Ends Justify the Memes. And remember, the ends always justify those memes. Play that outro, Tank.
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah. Macho madness, yeah, it's got more to offer than President Jack Tunney thinks that I got. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something right now. Cards stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage in WrestleMania 3. Yeah, let me say it, yeah. Let me say it out loud. And let me point to the president of the World Wrestling Federation. The Macho Man Randy Savage is not happy with your decision, yeah. I am the cream in the World Wrestling Federation.